Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Bit of Alexis watch straight away with our first feature, and that is all about a lot of people going today with this story about Marco Reus. Yes, yet again, Marco Reus linked with a move to Arsenal. We all know who he is, top player, plays for Dortmund, on the left-hand side predominantly, but a real top player, German player as well. Has been hampered a lot by injuries over the past few years, but we still know he's a top player. Now, a lot of suggestions going around today that if Alexis Sanchez doesn't sign a new contract, Arsenal will then move to try and sign Marco Reus with a £51 million bid to Dortmund. This report seems to have come about from a story that's appeared on the website and app, Who Scored. Where they get this information from, I don't know. They don't really seem to have any sort of proper source, whatever. Is this one of those stories that has been put out there by the club to try and persuade Alexis Sanchez people to hurry up and sign a new contract, as to say, listen, if you don't sign, we can go and get this person? Or is it just outlet, which it probably is, just putting two and two together and creating a story that sounds really, really good to everybody who is looking at it? And again, I like to do our polls here on Transfer Daily. What do you think? For me, Marco Reus is a top player, but Alexis Sanchez is much better. If that was Arsenal's intention, I think they'd be wrong. Again, you're better off paying the money for what you've got. I mean, I've got a friend who's a massive Dortmund supporter, season ticket holder in Dortmund. He lives in Germany, and we talk about football all the time. And he's told me on many occasions, he's going, Robbie, what's the obsession in England with Marco Reus? He goes, don't get me wrong, he's a very, very good player, but he goes, it's almost like an obsession over there. He goes, it's like you guys think this guy's Messi or something. He's not. He's good. He's very good. But he goes, I wouldn't say he's even the best player at Dortmund. He goes, I wouldn't even say he's probably the second best player at Dortmund. You know, that's how he talks. He goes, he's good, but not as good as what you guys think over there in England. And for me, Alexis Sanchez, we know, we see him every week. We see what he can do. We see what he does on the world stage, European stage. He's a top-class player. So I want to ask you this in this poll today, right? Who would you rather, Alexis Sanchez or Marco Reus? If you had a choice between the two of them, right? Who would you rather, Alexis Sanchez or Marco Reus? Let me know by voting in the poll. Another poll, I'm going to give you the results of the poll as well, coming up later on from yesterday. But before I do that, Alvaro Morata back in the news again today. Now, we've been linked with this guy as well for ages. It looked like we were really going to try and go for him in the summer. But what he did, he decided, well, not so much him. Real Madrid, who had him out on loan to Juventus, where he'd done very well, decided to activate a buyback clause, brought him back to the club, and he's gone back and he's far from happy. He's not playing week in, week out. There's a radio station over there in Spain called Cadena Zar, and they put out this report yesterday that Alvaro Morata has apparently said to his agent, go out there and find me a club. I want to leave Real Madrid. He also says, this is reportedly, he is also said to feel cheated by Zinedine Zidane, who of course is the manager of Real Madrid. He feels cheated that Zidane, you know, made a lot of assurances to him when he came back, and it's just not happened. He's not playing on a regular basis, and he's very unhappy about it. There's also another angle on it where there are reports that him moving depends on what happens to Karim Benzema. Now, Benzema is one of the latest players who have got a mega offer from China. China want to bring Benzema over there. Benzema's definitely pondering it. You know, Benzema's 29 now, probably thinking to himself, you know, one last big pension move over there in China. And what some of the reports are saying, that Morata will stay if Benzema goes to China. Whatever happens, it definitely looks like, you know, he's unhappy. The Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, came out the other day and he was saying that, you know, if Morata's attitude doesn't change, he'll sell him. So certainly seems to me that Morata may not be a Real Madrid player, at least, you know, by the summer. I'm not sure if he'll go in January, but by the summer, But is Morata as good as what everyone makes out? Is Morata much better than Giroud? I don't even know. You know what I mean? I've seen so little of him really, because he's never gone to anywhere and been the regular. Even when he was at Juventus, he wasn't the regular starter in the team. So why is that? Why wasn't he the regular starter in the team? For Spain, not the regular starter. You know, I'm still unsure about Morata. I mean, you guys, I'd love you to leave it in the comments and let me know what you think. Do you think he's a world-class player? Do you think he's that top-class player who could come to the Premier League and be like an Alexis, or, you know, be like one of those top players that guarantees you 20-plus goals a season? I'm still not 100% sure. And, you know, from his attitude at Real Madrid, he'd want to come to a club like Arsenal and start week in, week out. And if we kept hold of guys like Alexis and Giroud, we couldn't guarantee him that either. So, but leave it in the comments below. What do you think about Alvaro Morata? Matthew Debuchy, this goes on for, you know, he's starting to become the French Sadio Berahino. You know what I mean? We may as well sell this guy. He's wanted to go for a very long time. Arsene Wenger saying yesterday that he's fit again. And, you know, he possibly could even be in contention for the Southampton game, which I very much doubt, because Wenger also then started talking a lot about Gabriel and how well he's done on the right-hand side. Debuchy apparently wants to go back to France, and for me, when a player's unhappy, when a player's not going to figure a lot week in, week out, and at his age, do him a favour and sell him on. Carl Jenkinson's future still also needs to be sorted out. Of course, he couldn't agree terms with Crystal Palace on a move, but it looks like he's definitely going to be going out in the next couple of days. Not sure where. Could be West Ham maybe. But Carl Jenkinson looks like he's going to be on the move. And Callum Chambers, who's on loan at the moment over there at Middlesbrough. Bad news about him. He suffered an injury, a stress fracture to the foot. It's not broken, but a stress fracture. That's going to probably keep him out to up to a month. So let's hope that he's, you know, he's all right, you know, recovers all right, because he's been actually doing really, really well in his loan move at Middlesbrough. So Callum Chambers, get well soon. The poll results from yesterday. Remember, I asked the question, do Arsenal need to make any January signings? Now, the results are in. 61% of you said yes. 39% of you said no. So there's still a big appetite from the fans to make a signing. Tell me who that signing should be. Leave that in the suggestions, in the comments, and give me your suggestions. Let's get into some of the comments from yesterday. Hollow says, why is everybody acting like Jack Wilshere is some kind of world beater all of a sudden? The only thing he's been consistent at being is injured. Couple that with some terrible performances, and personally, I would prefer to sell him. He looks better at Bournemouth because he's a big fish in a small pond. Lucas says we should buy Carrasco and put him on the left. Man-to-Man Markin says we should get Marco Reus or Riyad Mahrez. They're both good options on the left and cheap. Cheap? I don't think so. None of those two would be cheap. True Guna says, personally, it all depends on how we end the season. If we lose and choke it up at the end of the year, we will see Sanchez walk away. So, lots of opinions there coming from you guys. Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, there's a brand new show starting over on my new channel, which is called Man Like Robbie. We've been constructing the studio now for about the past 6 weeks. That show is going to be starting on February the 1st. It's a brand new daily football show. So if you like your daily fix of football, get over there. It covers all things football. That's going to be starting from the 1st of February. So look out for that show. Few more days to go for this show here as the window shuts on the 31st of January. Really weird day. You know, I was looking at this the other day. I was thinking, really weird day for the January window to close, in that we've got Premier League games on the same day. Arsenal play Watford, a full Premier League programme almost. And for teams trying to get deals done in that, it's going to be a really different window to what we normally see, because normally it's a clear day with no games going on. But on that day, there are going to be a lot of games. Will Arsenal sign anybody? We'll find out then. Thanks for watching. We'll be back around about the same time tomorrow.